having your opinion on me because you're in the right frame, you're in the right mind frame to do any of that. I'm not going to stop that. That tit for tat, it doesn't mean anything to me. You know that you was my friend. You know that that's not true. You know that you've spoken to my daughter on many of occasions. You know if that was true, I wouldn't be living with my daughter. I'm going to do what I'm going to do, honestly. And after I've sent her the messages, whatever I've sent her, she has a choice to make. She has a choice to make to say sorry to me and my child for what she allowed, knowing full well that I had already messaged her. All she needs to say sorry. And then she can move off the topic. And then I don't want my name to be spoken about by any of them. If any of you have got a problem with me, you shouldn't be going onto her platform to slander me because you're putting her in more situations. Okay? You shouldn't be wanting to slander me on her platform. You shouldn't be trying to force her to slander me without any receipts on her platform or anyone's platform. And if you are going to slander me, you need to bring the receipts. You need to bring the facts and the receipts to the table. Honest to God, the tit for tat, I can forget about it. It is what it is. But you're not going to spin the narrative that you was a victim or anybody was a victim here. When you be on the phone to the police, that narrative's not going to get spun. I was the only victim the past 48 hours by a lot of years. Absolutely disgusting behaviour. Vemming. I just don't want to ever see my name come out of their mouth. Honest to God. And if you have a problem with me and you really have a problem with me and you're blocked, get one of your friends to unblock and then you can message me and we can have a conversation. And that conversation can go however you want it to go. I'm not going to have nobody try and twist the narrative on me, try and make out like I'm some bad person and that Lakeisha this, Lakeisha that, Lakeisha that. You need to grow up. You need to literally, and then mocking me as well about my situations, what I'm doing with myself is absolutely disgusting. You need to feel ashamed of yourself, honestly. And it's not who I am. It's who you are. Unfortunately, that's the kind of breeding platform you have. It's the kind of breeding platform you have. Honestly, it is the kind of menace society in the benefit Britain, single fucking no ring, maybe 3%. And they had so much to say on me. And what did I actually do to your kettle? What did I do? Nothing. Not one thing. Except for come on my lives and do my own thing. So let's see if they really want to keep the narrative up. And then there's like 20 against 1. It's unbelievable. I've never experienced anything like it in my life. Never experienced, and I won't want anybody else to go through it, but unfortunately I'm their next victim. But they just can't do it themselves. They're not going to be able to create something themselves. Honestly, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame. I've been accused as well with Jess. You can't write it out. She accused me of stealing. This is before they found out about the cancer and stuff. She accused me of stealing thousands of pounds and making Robert seriously ill. Not only did she accuse me of the stuff, well, trying to get the stuff, like to basically forcing Lou to basically say that I was giving her, the stuff, but which that was a lie. All of it was a lie, was not true. It was all in her head. This was all in Jess's head. Complete nutter. She also told the viewers that I'd stolen thousands of pounds off Rob, and that's why he had been coming online. Sick in their heads. And then telling people and then having the narrative of, oh yes, she'll want his house. Do you know that Rob lives with his mum? He's a mummy's boy. I don't want to go into the finances, but do you know that Rob lives with his mum? Not his own house. You're sick in your head. And then to find out the next day he has cancer. I hope to God you sleep tonight, honestly, and you send Lou a message and say, I'm sorry for saying that because I shouldn't have really suggested that. Because why would anybody in the right mind be doing that to somebody? She could have died. She could have died. And you're suggesting that I would be bringing that, knowing I have a 12-year-old daughter. You're sick. You're sick. My friend's seriously ill. And you're going around telling people that I've taken thousands of pounds. Nobody else said that, Jess. Only you. Sick. Complete sicko. So if you want to talk about anything, if I'm going to come on a live and I'm going to say this, that and the other, then it's what I'm saying out of my own mouth. But I'm only covering back to what's being said about me, honestly. And I'm being very calm. I just can't believe with the stuff that they've... And then after that, it was, yeah, she's just there to take his inheritance. What inheritance did you think? I already knew him before he got poorly. It's absolutely sick that people have the mindset of that. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Have you proof of that? Nobody ever witnessed Jess saying that. Yes, she did. I've got the screen recording of her saying everything. Anyhow, right, moving on, because that's a fact. So we don't need to go over that conversation. Anyhow, moving on. The fact that even Jess was suggesting that and telling people that to the viewers, that I were taking thousands of pounds off Rob, is also as well bringing him into things which wasn't true. The fact that you had that in your head and brought it out to the table like it was true is absolutely disgusting as well. What kind of money, where was these thousands of pounds going? What was this thousands of pounds going on? Because I haven't had no new clothes. I'm in need of a new wardrobe. So you tell me where this £1,000, these thousands of pounds have gone. Do you know what? You're not gonna get out of my life spamming my chat. Goodbye. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting that she's had a mindset to tell people that is what I'm doing, when guys, that's not the truth. I've been supporting Rob for a very long time. Hi, Miss London. I've been supporting Rob for a very long time before he had cancer. I'm not around him because he's ill. Are you sick? You're sick. Well, she didn't suggest that, but I'm just saying. I'm not around him because he's ill. I already knew him before he was ill. So to say that, which that was the day... After she said that, that was the day afterwards. Obviously, everybody knew. So it wasn't on the day that he's come out with it. It was the day before. Hi, Miss Blue, darling. You okay, sweetheart? So, yeah. I'm not going to have it, honest to God. I'm going to stick with my guard and do what I want to do. And I'm not going to be having a pity party. Usually, I would have took things into consideration and felt a bit tight. But why should I? I hadn't done nothing wrong and I've been put in the firing line for no reason. Just the same way as other people, if you have people to protect or you feel a way about something, you're going to say something. I'm not a scared person. I'm going to say something up front. I'm going to say it up front. But nothing that she said in that live sticks. It was a bullying live. It was a hate campaign against me. And let's say this, what if I wasn't strong enough, Jess, to handle all of that? What if I wasn't strong enough, just like how you're feeling not strong enough, to handle everything that you've put me through for the past 48 hours? How can you go around wanting sympathy and all of this shit when you've put me through it? How can you do that? How can you act like a victim? How can you feel in your heart that you haven't done something wrong? I'm going to feel the same way because I didn't do anything. I didn't cause anything. And then, with the situation with Mark, that wasn't that deep. It's not like I'd been sat in your room. All right, then, let me give you an example. I could have understood if I would have sent some terrible messages to Sharon or Miss Blue or somebody in that circle, and then all that would have come out. Then it would have been like, yeah, she really would have part of it. Then I could have understood, like, go all the way out. But what did I actually do? No, not one thing. And then for people saying, oh, she recorded a call, which was a confident call. Hold on a minute. How about, let's go into it. They tried, let me show you how they tried to twist two things on me. They're saying, how can she record a call, right, to a friend that spoke to her in confidence? Okay? But how can she speak to me about all her friends in confidence, right? Number two, she went on her live the other day and was allowing all this shit to get spilled, but didn't once have one person come up with any facts or receipts. It was just their opinions about me. Now, if one of my biggest troll accounts has been putting everything that they can find on me and is messaging everybody because they're that desperate to get anything on me, don't you think that they would have put it out already? Now, with the BP situation, he's the dad of Evil Queen. Now, if that was the truth, why would he have come on your live the other day, Jess, and told you when you asked him, do you have any proof? No. Well, how can you say it? Oh, I heard it from a family member. Are you sick in your head? Are you okay? How can you sit on your live and say, she's losing the plot, she's doing this, she's doing that, all because I said something to Lauren? All because I said something to Lauren, then you took it to the next extent. We've gone over her. She's no longer a victim. That case is now dismissed. Honestly. And what you thought is this, because remember, I'm an empath, right? If you've never been here for one of my readings before, you need to really tune in. Honestly. If you've never been for one of my readings before, I don't think you know how my head works. So I'm going to tell you just exactly how you sat there and made up your own assumptions that I'd fallen out with you. So this is how it went in your head, Jess. You knew that doing this to me, you wanted to, but you knew you couldn't because of certain leverage. But in reality, you really wanted to do it. You was pushed by other people in the background, right? Now, if BP knew that this was the truth about me, don't you think that he would have posted it up? That main troll account with mine pushed you to do that because she hasn't got no evidence, because it's not the truth, right? So she pushed you in the comments with everybody else to take it a step further. And you got excited, you got all in your head. And I think for the first 3 seconds, you really didn't think about what you was doing. I think in reality, you thought, well, what's going to come back of this? Fuck it, I can just go all the way out. And then have the audacity to know that this guy has done the most to me, to bring him up. And imagine if I would have done something like that with Miss Blue or Sharon or somebody else, you would have gone absolutely crazy. But I haven't done anything like that. You thought in your head, and not just you, the ones that are watching in the background. My main troll account got in your head, right? Because she wants to destroy me. And that's a whole different story. Not just her, but a couple of other people. Now, they're doing their little miniature reports. And what you tried to do, Jess, this week as an empath was this. You tried to do as many things on that live as possible. So I would come in and react, go on my live and react and create a scene so it looked like I was unstable. For you then and for others that don't like me, and especially my main troll account, to then have more videos on me, for then to keep referring me. But it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen, because if I give the fuck about what you was going to say, I would never have put myself in any situations. You know why? Because I wasn't doing anything wrong. My conscience was clear. So when I was over in Sharon's, in my heart and in my mind, I didn't do anything wrong because I hadn't sent anything. I wasn't a part of it. I hadn't been a part of the back. And anything that I was a part of with saying that, you know, about the husband, I'd apologised. I've gone to visit her, even to her face, and apologised. That is the difference, girls, between me and you women that actually have a vendetta against me. I've always told you, I'm not just an internet warrior, I'm real life. So I said some hurtful things about Sharon, and I was also in that live when we, you know, all thought that she was lying about taking a life. To find out, you know, going to house that's not the truth was a whole different chalk and a ball game. So I've apologised and gone there face to face. I've done what you could never do, and what the people that are behind these screens could never imagine to do. You know, it's got to be scary for some people to be put in them situations. But for me, I'm a free spirit. I'm not scared of nothing. Like, I put myself in situations and I see it as, you know, when the thing for me is the littlest things don't really hurt me. So a person can do something to me and I can just let go because it's not really that deep. And I'm a person that can say sorry. When I'm in the wrong, I can come back and say, do you know what? I'm wrong. I did this, it's wrong. And I can hold my hands up. I'm like that. That's why I went to Sharon's. You know, there was a lot of reasons, not just because of to go get any information, because there was no conversations about that. It was just me, her and Rob, you know, sat there off live, chilling, talking about things in the past. Not about getting this person and, oh, did you see that person doing that? Even when you were doing the live, we weren't having a conversation about it. I came on the next day to 1,000 WhatsApps and whatever was told. And still from then, I kept my composure because I'm not like you lot. Sorry, not all of yous, but the people that was a part of trying to bring me down. And Shelbel, the thing with you is I never had a problem with you. You, when all this has gone on in the past 48 hours, you know, which you contradicted yourself twice. You told the viewers, well, I really liked Lakeisha. I liked her. And then you went on there and said, well, we warned Jess from her. We didn't really like her in the community, right? That's 3 contradictions. And then we're the first person to want to bring up my stalker. Now, if I had anything to hide, Shelbel, and I didn't want anything to be out, and I wanted you to make a fool out of me, I wouldn't be on here making a fool out of myself. I'd be behind the camera being screen recorded and it'd be outed. Anything that I say sometimes is clickbait. They're saying, yeah, I'm a prostitute. Right, we'll go into the money. I went to my friend's house and told them we're doing clickbait. That I'm going to walk into the house and ask you for £400. Now, let's break it down. Let's say it wasn't clickbait, right? And this was really me going into my friend's house or whoever's house it was and taking some money. Let's break it down into 2 ways. We'll break it down into the way that their theory is, and then we'll break it down to why I did it. Their theory is that I walked into somebody's house. They don't know who that is. But the video says it's an old man's house. But on this video, you can't see anybody. You can't see no old man or no video or no man on the video. You can just hear the person's voice, right? In this video, I'm asking for £400. Right? And in this video, it seems like I'm receiving the £400, right? And also on the front of this troll account of mine, it says how this person is a vulnerable person. So on this video, it says that I've took £400 from this vulnerable person, blah, 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 right? But in the video, you can't see this old person. You can't see this money exchange. You're just hearing what I'm wanting you to listen to, right? You can't see an old man that they're referring to. And on this video, when I'm saying, give me some more money, this alleged old man is saying on the video, no. So if this man, how this hate page is saying, this man is an old man, she took £400 and he's vulnerable, number one. If he was vulnerable, he wouldn't be saying no in the video. Number two, no, my name's not Sharon, it's Lakeisha. Number two, right? Even if I did walk into that house and take any amounts of money, £1 grand, £2 grand, £3 grand more, right? That's none of your business. I must know that person to go into their house to take that cash. Okay, but let's tell you the truth, what happened. I told my friends, let's do clickbait. And I did that. And then they spun the narrative with all the other narratives that they've spun on me. So my main troll account is going to come in. She's going to say, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that, because she hasn't got the balls to do it. She hasn't got the balls to do it herself. And there's been so much stuff that's been put out about me, but it's only from out of my mouth. So for you troll accounts, Happy Apple, all your other ones, all you've got on me is what I say out of my mouth. Let me come closer. All you've got out of me and on me, right, is what I say out of my mouth. You haven't gone digging and found anything on me because there's nothing to find. You haven't just mysteriously woken up one day and become a detective and started getting 5 stars. It's not like that. Okay? Anything you post about me in an awareness is what I want you to hear. If I didn't want you to hear it, I wouldn't be on TikTok. Can we get a thumbs up in the chat? Right. So yeah, Bible reading. Do you know what, right? At least you're not mocking it. At least you are not mocking my Bible studies, because that's another thing. I'm not going to name names, but certain individual was mocking like she said, you're going to need to get closer to God. Do you know what I've been through in my life? Do you know what I've been through in my life? A lot more than what I'm going through right now. Honestly, if you think what I'm going through right now is anything compared to what I've gone through, there's nothing on me. Let me tell you why there's no on me and why you can't find no. I'll tell you myself. I'm going to tell you why you're all scrambling in the background, right? I'll tell you why. Because I'm a person. I'm like a ghost. I don't have friends. I don't have family. I don't go out clubbing. I don't drink. I don't have tattoos. I don't associate. I don't buy things online. I don't take drugs. I don't have nobody's numbers stored in my phone. I have certain phones and I live a certain way. I dress a certain way. I speak to people that are from a different planet and I'm on a different wavelength. I'm very protected and highly valued. That is why you cannot trace me. I'm going to give you another 2 months. And after the 2 months, you're going to have to retire because I haven't done anything. I don't do anything. My trail and tracks is very weird, but it's nothing to do with anything bad. I'm like, just imagine me in a cottage in the field by myself, shooting deer, living outside, eating grass. I'm not a person around accounts, around people, in this, in that, allow family members to come round, allow aunties to babysit. I'm not that person. I'm loud on here, but in my life, I'm different. So I'm not like you lot in group text messages and then 6 months later start getting hurt and say, you know what, I'm going to tell this person that because they've made me feel special for the day. They've really got it in my heart, so I'm going to start, telling them everything about my life. I don't care. I've already told my life story. I was tortured for a bit. I had a good and bad life, not a whole bad life. I had a good and bad life. And I've brought myself up. So if a person's brought themselves up, you're dealing with a different person. You've been brought by your mum and dad. You've had your clothes washed. You've been put to bed at night. We live with different people. So my thing with Sharon, wanting to get back at anybody, look, has anybody said anything? Has Sharon done anything? Have we come on a live together? Have people been mean? So all of that for no. Has Miss Blue said anything? Has she said it? Has she come on a live and started out in anything? Has anything been passed on? No. It's nothing like that. So all these assumptions and making it about yourself, you can see now you made it about yourself. You made the assumptions up yourself because nobody's done all, nobody said all. The actions are not from my side. The actions are not from Sharon's side. The actions are not from Blue's side. The actions are not from Nick's or anybody else involved in this. We all have our own different sides. I do my own thing. Whatever I say and do is out of my mouth. Nobody can think for me. You can't tell me what to do or what to put out or when to put it out. I'm a person, I calculate everything and I can set up things from a mile off and I'm very good at it. And if I feel like you've come past me, I will get ahead of you, whether you like it or not. And that is how I am. So when all the things were going in the background, like I said the other day, I told the truth. You all thought at that point that, you were going to try and, like, all of you, like, get some answers all at once. And it was going to become by eye, honestly. And other people would have been there for that. But to other people, when you see somebody that is can be potential and is valuable, you're not going to allow that to happen. And how my mind works, I'm more likely to make a person, empower a person, than actually see them on the ground. That's the difference. And when a person empowers a person, there's no stopping them. You need to start empowering your team, making them believe that they can get through it, taking them to the top. And even though you're not doing no, you're just there. Now, at the end of the day, that's the power, that's the aura that I have within me because of what kind of person I am. I open doors. I allow the people when they're at, I don't kick somebody when they're down. I see an opportunity out of it, honest to God. I see it as, you know what? It's like an abandoned puppy left outside in the rain. You bring it in, you nurture it, and you bring it back to life, and it loves you for life. It sticks by you because it knows that you're loyal. And I teach people this, and this is how I do it. From when you're outside in the rain, and I bring you back in, warm you up, and then it's showing you the loyalty, the time that I've spent with you. I'm showing you that this is the loyalty. So when you break it, it won't ever be the same. Some people with loyalty, they just dish it around. They don't nurture it. Whereas I come into people's lives and establish my loyalty from the get-go. And the way I do it is I always see an opportunities. Loyalty comes when a person is on the fucking ground. It doesn't come from when a person's won money or you've known that person from the whole of the life. Does it fuck? It comes from when a person's on the ground and you being able to nurture that person and bring them back. It's not about the money. Loyalty is not about holding money. It's not about any of that what you think in that criminal life. It's about if one of yours wounded, are you going to bring them and help them? Or, all right then, if one of yours are wounded within the midst of something going on, are you going to leave them there and run off? Or are you going to start spraying whilst trying to drag your friend out? Are you going to be on the front line? Like, look at them 2 guys that have just got taken out in Spain. Together. Head of Scotland. Big timers. Yeah? Together. Now, their loyalty wouldn't have just come from overnight. I guaranteed if one would have been shot, the other one would have been trying to save the other one. And that's how I show people that's the loyalty. And one thing about me is about the loyalty. I don't care what you dress like, what you talk like, how you are, what you live like. If you can hold the loyalty, that is fine. Once you break it, I'll never be the same. But I'm not a revengeful person. I'm not a revengeful person where if the loyalty breaks, I want to break you. I won't scream and shout. I won't make a big deal out of it. I just exit your life. Exiting someone's life peacefully because I've lived a life with everybody's walked out from the day I was born. And that was God's plan. It's not a sad thing. Some people think, yeah, your mum and dad give you up, it's a sad thing. It's not. It's one of them things where you actually think, wow, it's stunning that a person like me can be where I am today. I look good. My mum created something beautiful. Yeah, I've got sides to me, but we all have. No one's perfect. So when people are putting me down, I'm just thinking, everybody's got flaws. I've got things that I don't like about myself, but you've got things that you don't like about yourself. None of us are perfect, honestly. But I was the wrong one. I would have been there for Jess through anything. And one thing I did say to her, even though it they might have said to me, I don't want to know you, Keisha. Miss Blue and Cheryl could have said this at any time. I went in there and said, even after I sent Miss Blue that message and said to her, please keep yourself safe, protect yourself, right? I still said, please spare Lou and Jess. Twice I said that. I said, if anything's going to go down, just please leave them out of it. And still, you wanted to drag me down. And at that point, they could have said, well, Keisha, we don't want you in here because this is what we're going to go ahead with, right? But I still came out with that loud because I'm not a pussy. I'm not a pussy, and I can open my mind and my mouth and tell people how I feel. Because, yeah, in the midst of all the storm, it doesn't make me a bad person. Her house, people were saying they were going to blow it. And all the other madness that was going to it. She has cancer, throat cancer. We don't know if she's got machines around her. We don't know if she's bedbound. How do we know what situation she's in? When I'm listening to Miss Blue over the phone, I'm sorry to say this, Miss Blue, if you are listening, but it does sound like she has like breathing stuff because her throat sounds like, she's always gasping for air. So how do you know what a situation? And then you've got it all played out with everybody. So imagine if I had a problem with Miss Blue and Sharon had a problem with Miss Blue, and just say Yellow and Blue had a problem with Miss Blue, right? Everybody was sat in a box that night having all these conversations. Say for instance, one person was saying, well, she's done this, Miss Blue, and well, she's done this to me, Miss Blue, well, she's done that to me, Miss Blue, well, she's done... And something would have seriously happened to her that night, right? Everybody would have gone to jail, because if I'm with 16 people and one person dies and I'm there at the scene, we're all going to jail. I'm going to get the more sentence because I was there. Even when I didn't even do anything, commit the crime, and the person that was there committed the crime, I'm more likely to get more of a sentence. So with that, right, when they're ringing cases, this is what they're not using their heads. When they're ringing pleas on Miss Blue and saying, we found her, right? They lost the case. You want me to tell you where they lost the case? Shall I tell you where they lost the case? When they started making preparations, they started making threats. They didn't just, go to the police with this information, what they've been going to the police with months for. They took that information and brought it straight to social media. Then outed all the information on a public platform and all the other stuff that come with it. So imagine for months you've been working on trying to bring a person down, just like they did with me, right? You go into the police, blah, blah, blah. And you ruin it all in one night because you had them conversations about what you was going to do. And you actually think that you've got any leverage. It's just like what you did with me the last 48 hours. You've got this big account, main account, right? Troll account, wanting to try and get me so angry that I come on a live and say the wrong thing, right? But it's not going to happen. It's the same thing that happened with Miss Blue when all of that was coming out. You lost your leverage. So in court, if I'm the barrister, I'm going to say, hold on a minute. None of yous are victims. Because wasn't you on 25th of the 5th, 2025 on a live castrating what you was all going to do and all the information that was getting said on that live. You're not understanding. When you are a victim and you really are in fear and all this stuff is happening to you, right? You need to take yourself off live. And if you are on live, you can't be engaging in any of that behaviour. So none of that angriness that was happening in them lives the past 48 hours, none of that what was happening when Miss Blue, when it all got outed with her, right? You lost your leverage. Every single person. Now, why would I not have messaged her right at that moment in time and said, please safeguard yourself? And even at that moment, I don't even think I knew that they'd even found her at that point until maybe a little bit later, or she might have said something. I'm like, what? I don't even know. But safeguarding children, woman at home, cancer, everything just started going up. And I just thought, fuck this. I need to say something because this is out of control. And God forbid anything happens. I ain't been a part of that. Honest to God. Not a part of none of it. So when they're all like, yeah, we've got her, we can finally all get justice. Justice where? It's more harmful for what was said on them lives. That was going to happen to that woman. It was more harmful. You've got no leverage. Just like how my main troll account wanted Jess to do all that and the rest of them and thought I was going to come on and scream and shout. Miss Blue didn't do that either. She came on calm and got on with it. Because why are we going to come on like that? You know, you've been doing police reports on us, but yet you're on a live engaging in all this hateful behaviour. You've got to really start thinking about what you're going to do in your next moves. Honest to God. Because you're moving slack. You're moving slack. You can't ring the police and then cry wolf. It doesn't work like that in the court of law. And with a person in a brain like mine, I'll have my bloody lawyer working overtime with these notes. I'm telling you now. It's not, you don't understand. Honest to God, I'm like a magician. That's all I've got to say for tonight, guys. I wish you all the best, honestly. And I'll be back on Tuesday. Now, if any narratives get spun about me and my name is clapping on anybody's cheeks, that is on you. You're not going to get anything out of me. Not a tear, nothing, not one thing. Right? And if I do something, it's off my back. Nobody should be getting the blame. Don't bring my friend Robert into it because his business and his cancer has got nothing to do with you. It's disgusting. My friendship with Sharon and Blue, if there is a friendship and, you know, if they are friends with me, that's between us. Nothing to do with nobody else. And I won't feel away or feel sad for anybody else's behaviour because they don't want people to see the real them. I show the real me and I showed up to Sharon's and I did the right thing and I put out the right things. We're on a different platform and that's all I have to say. Thank you to everybody that came in. Thank you to my mods as well. Thank you to the comments and the people that listened. I know I nagged a bit, but I needed to get it out because there's been 50 on one. And then when you're trying to say what you've got to say, they say you're embarrassing yourself. But the thing with me is once I get in this mindset, there's no stopping me. You should not have woken me up because I was all right just doing Bible studies on the live, which we will pray, but we won't pray for you tonight. I'll do that in silence. Good night. God bless. Wish you all the best. Mwah.